Sure. It's good to get back, get everybody back in town. We have everybody back now 100%. We had a couple guys yesterday that had a couple flight issues, but they got in late last night. They will be delayed one day in practice. They have to get their COVID test today. They have to clear that and get the results back before they can practice. But other than that, we are darn near 100%. All of our guys got back yesterday. They took their COVID test. And I want to say there was 157 results we have back at this point, and we're 100% clear at this point. So let's hope it stays that way. We have to do another test on Wednesday. So we got some good practices in prior to our Christmas break. And again, the guys are back. It's, kind of nice. We could have a normal week. We play on a Saturday, so today's a typical Monday for us. We are ahead a little bit, so we'll try to get a little bit of work done to offset some pressure on our Tuesday and Wednesday practice. So anxious to get back out there today.
All right, if you will, please use the raise hand feature in order to ask questions for Coach, and we will begin with Larry Vaught. Go ahead, Larry.
Good morning, Mark.
Morning.
I don't have any great insightful questions for you this morning. I'm just kind of wondering, what was Christmas like for you and your family, and how nice was it just to be able maybe to enjoy a few stress-free days?
Well, it's very rare for you to have no insightful questions for me, Larry. So it's a little different for you. There's not much for us to talk about right now, huh? Not a lot of news in the football world, at least on my end, the past couple of days. But Christmas was really good. It was much needed. It was a good break. I really needed to spend some time with the family, spend some time with the kids, and that was really good. We enjoyed ourselves and relaxed like most people.
All right, Josh Moore.
Mark, I guess you may not even know this. I guess Darian Kennard was just named to the third team AP All-American. I guess we just thoughts on just all the kind of honors the guys have kind of gotten over the last couple of weeks, and maybe where Darian is with his decision there on maybe what he's going to do.
Darian receiving All-American honors, no surprise there. I think he should be even higher. I think he has, really had a good year. And if he decides to come back, he'll be, in my opinion, he could be a consensus All-American. But where he's at in that decision, we're just gathering information. Darian's been very thorough. He's been trying to talk to as many people as he can. I've tried to get him as much information as I can. I'm waiting to get back the official written documentation from the NFL, and I believe Darian will lean heavily on that information. But I'm not sure. Like I said, we've had talks. I'm not going to constantly, try to persuade Darian one way or the other. My job is to get him as much actual facts that I can from real people, from NFL people, and not people just telling him everything he wants to hear, because that's one of the problems that happens with juniors is everybody on the street and all the agents wants to tell him, everything he wants to hear. And every player deserves that opportunity to play in the NFL. I want them to, and if the time is right, then we give them every blessing. And so I don't know where it's at. I want to get more information. I want to get the accurate information from the NFL, give him that feedback, and have him make an accurate decision for him and his family. I love Darian either way. I think he's going to be a pro either way. And, that's his decision. And it's my job to help get him real clean information.
All right. Next question will be from John Hale.
Mark, apologies that we've asked you this, I think, every time we've talked to you since the end of the season, but in terms of seniors who might use that extra year of eligibility, have you had more of those conversations, or is that going to be something that's after the bowl game?
John, we have been so spent, man. Since the last time we talked, these guys needed some time off. So we all did. So we've been in the office working, but I haven't talked to them or they know they have that opportunity. We talked to them. They needed some time off. They're back today. I'll see them today at 1:00 in a team meeting.
All right, Nick Roush.
NC State has a couple of really talented backs. What are their kind of strengths, and how do you try to take them out of the game?
Yeah, we actually really like both of them. They both are really good at getting yards after contact. We do feel like Seven has some home run ability, but they're both just really good players. They're both really solid. They're hard to tackle. They get yards after contact.
I'm curious too, with just the ACC. It's back-to-back years you've played an ACC team in a bowl game. Is there any sort of constant when looking at film in that conference versus the one you're in now? Is there a big difference between how you prepare for an ACC team versus an SEC team?
No, there's no difference in preparation.
All right, Lonnie Demery.
Mark, you
Lonnie, we're not getting you. Okay, Tim, we'll go to the next question. Gary Graves.
Mark, if you could, when you kind of look at how Kenneth Horsey has developed within a program, especially with the challenges that he faced a couple of years ago. I mean, what do you say about his diligence and his perseverance through all that, and what he's meant to the offensive line?
Well, again, it just says an awful lot about him. There's many people that would have to definitely consider whether to put your body through the stress that it takes to compete at this level after going through what he went through. There's a lot of people would have second thoughts about that. Kenneth and his family really have not. I think the doctors have given him obviously the ability to do that and to play the game that he loves. And we're just very proud that he's out here, that he's playing. I think he's a young man that is truly can count his blessings, that he's out here playing a game that he loves to play. We're glad he's here, and we're proud of him. He's becoming a leader. He's becoming a better football player each and every day. And, we're certainly very grateful that he's here because, as you know, he has a teammate that wasn't so fortunate.
Josh Moore.
I just continue to be astounded kind of at the commitment from your guys and just, how much they bought in. Have other coaches around the league or the country reached out to you to kind of talk about that and pick your brain about just kind of what you're doing that has led to that?
I talk to, many coaches throughout the country and, we talk, but I wouldn't say specifically about that issue. I mean, I think things come up. The culture of your team, the challenge that we have of keeping joy within this season during such a stressful and challenging year. I think that's been well documented. We've talked about it. I do feel like our team has healed some. I know that helps in our preparation. It helps with their mental well-being. And, we feel better. We feel stronger. I know we had great practices prior to the break, and I hope they continue through this week. And I think, again, it's a testament to the work that we've been doing for 3, 4, 5, 6 years in trying to really, create a very positive culture within our program.
Hey, Gabriel.
Mark, we've talked to you throughout the season, obviously, about some of the problems and challenges your team has faced this year, but going into the bowl game, what are some of the good things that you've seen in the wins that you'd like to see more of in the bowl game?
Well, I think if you're specifically talking about, the football aspect of it, besides the mental preparation, I think the football end of it is, when we play together. I think offensively, you talk about balance. When we are successful, we have our balance and we're able to throw the ball at least efficiently and effectively to keep people, a little bit on their heels and not be so predictable. And defensively, it comes down to really, I talk about all the time, but it's just true. Just with that attitude and with that mentality. I could go off on a rant right now because it just kind of, again, you think about things that happen, but when our team is mentally focused and ready to play and we're in great position, Brad's going to have them in position. Our defensive coaches are going to have them in position. It's a matter of really straining and executing and being mentally sharp and being dialed in. And there were many times this year when I was a little disappointed, to be quite honest with you. And I feel like when we're dialed in, when we're attentive, when we're playing with a chip on our shoulder and an edge and mental sharp, we're sharp mentally, good things are going to happen.
And Spencer?
Mark, with everything that this team has been through this year, even starting back with Chris Oates and dealing with COVID and of course losing John Schlarman, were you surprised when you guys met as a team and decide whether to play in the bowl game that your kids were all in? Because, I mean, look, let's be honest, it's not going to be a normal bowl experience than years past, and it hasn't been a normal year, but your kids seem to be all in.
Without a doubt, I was pleased because, listen, I think, for the program, for coaches, for all of us, it's easy to want to do those things. To talk about them, hopefully many years later saying, hey, look at the stretch we had and look at the run that we had. But I would not do that at the expense of our players' mental health. And I wouldn't do it. I mean, I absolutely was not going to influence them to do this and to play this game because I know I'm the one standing in front of them every day. And believe me, when you're standing there sitting and talking in front of about 130, 140 people every day, and you look them in the eye, you have a pretty good feel for what they're feeling. And, it was a challenge and they were spent. And so I was pleased with the result of the vote. I was happy that they got a chance to get away and refresh and mentally recharge. They know I'm going to try to take care of them. I'm going to try to make an extremely positive experience for them in any way I can. We're going to have a good practice today, and then we're going to go as a team and have a really nice dinner at Malone's and try to spend some time together and take care of the contact tracing and really spread out over some time, but sit and try to enjoy each other's company. And, I was pleased with it. So, I guess that's the word I keep on coming back to. I'm glad we're going. I think it's the right decision. I think, and mainly I feel that way because that's how they feel. And I feel the joy that they have right now, getting out there, playing the game again that they love. It's not a normal bowl experience. It's an away game. So for them, for people, it's a lot of fun. It's not. It's a grind. It's work. It's going back and forth from home, cutting into their break, again, at a time when they've been mentally challenged. And I'm excited because the team's excited. We've had a good experience so far, and I'm happy for them. And now it's time. Let's go win the game. Anytime we get in this position, the competitive nature comes out of you. You want them to enjoy themselves, but we want to get better. We want to improve, and we want to win. Again, that's how I feel about it.
Lonnie, Gator, you gonna try you again?
Yeah, Coach, we'll try this again. First off, Happy New Year.
You too.
And I want to say, I want to ask you about Billy Hoffman. He's a nephew of Ryan Hoffman, and I was wondering if in watching, what kind of comparison do you make between the two guys? Are there any similarities there whatsoever, or what have you?
I really haven't put that much thought into it, Lonnie, to differentiate between the two and all that. So I'm not sure, about the comparison. Happy New Year to you as well, though, and all of you guys.
Mark, what's the biggest area of growth you've seen from Keaton Upshaw over the course of the year? Obviously, we see him catching passes and making plays, but maybe some of the things that we don't see readily.
I think he's playing with better pad level. His releases are better. He's playing faster. and letting the plays come to him. There's times, for big men, they're maybe looking a little too early for the ball. I mean, we have to play with the athleticism and the speed that he has. And, he's only a sophomore, and he's gotten better with every opportunity. And I like what I'm seeing.
All right, Larry Bob.
Mark, I'm assuming this will be the last game for Max Duffy. When he's gone, how much is he going to be missed? And you think he's been so good, he probably hadn't been as fully appreciated as what he should be by just the average fan and maybe even average media people?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard question. I think, him winning the Ray Guy a year ago really gave him, a lot of recognition that he deserved. And that's a major award. It's the biggest award he could win for himself, along with being an All-American. So, I think it's been a really good experience for all of us. I mean, Max and I have a really good relationship. I think he thoroughly enjoyed his time here. I'm grateful for him, the job that he did for us. I'm quite certain that the fans do as well. We're going to miss him, but he did a good job of helping us recruit another Aussie, and hopefully we'll keep that tradition going.
Josh Moore.
Hey, Mark. I wanted to ask about the defensive line this year. You kind of touched on the defense and maybe some things that it did well and didn't. Pressure was kind of something y'all seemed like never really got going this year. Is that something? How do you kind of work on that in the interim here? When you've had a lot more time to kind of prepare, and then just going ahead, maybe looking at why that happened the way it did this year. When the last few years it's been a pretty strong area for you guys.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a fair criticism. We're looking at it hard. We're looking at it, whether it's scheme, whether it's technique, whether it's individual athletic ability. We feel like we had a big time player in JJ, and we still feel that way. Unfortunately, he's out right now in this game, and it'll take him a while to get really back to 100% early next year. But you felt like a guy like JJ was going to develop into an elite pass rusher. Boogie, definitely can create some great rushes and does a very good job. I mean, he's been good for us for years, but I think it comes as a whole package. What's going on? Are they getting rid of the football quick? We're, poor rush lanes, you name it. Again, just like most things, when you come up short in certain areas, you have to look at everything. Everything's starting with yourself schematically. What are we doing? Are we putting them in a position to be successful? Are we covering the guys long enough to let them get there? Are we creating enough pressure with our opportunities and pressures? And so that's shared responsibility that we understand, have already looked at, and will continue to try to get better, and also try to continue to recruit an elite pass rusher, because that's what we need.
John Long.
Hey, Mark, there's been a lot of lighthearted banter and excitement about Vince calling the plays. On the interview that I heard him on, he was pretty serious about it. How confident do you feel about him, and how much free reign is he going to have?
Well, it'll be a collaborative effort. That's for sure, as it always is. I think, with putting the game plan together, but I have all the confidence in Vince. Vince has done a great job. Any responsibility I give Vince and have given him through his time here, he's done it, and he's done it very well. So, he understands. He's lighthearted. He's a great recruiter. He heads up that effort all the time. But when you put responsibility like this in front of him, he takes that with a challenge also. And let's not kid ourselves. At the end of the day, we're all competitive people, and Vince has an opportunity. He has an opportunity to prove himself, and and so I'm excited for him. But there's a lot of us in there and trying to put together a good game plan, that will come together and be effective for us.
Gary Graves.
Sorry. Oh, there we go.
Wait, Gary.
Okay. In the course of keeping these guys dialed in, over this season, was there anything unconventional that you did to lighten the mood? I mean, did you have any kind of comedy nights or movie nights or something like that guys blow off steam?
There's always things you try to do, that you try to just keep it a little bit off balance. I mean, I wouldn't say there's anything over the top that I did. I'm always trying to be, reading the team and feeling the pulse of that team and trying to change things up and have fun with them and create energy for them. But I'm not gonna lie, it was a challenge. It was a challenge for them and for all of us. I feel we have done things of that nature. Once the regular season was over and we're getting ready for this bowl game. So, but during the regular season, it was hard with COVID and trying to play games. And so going and doing fun things and things of that nature, and even getting together in our team meeting, we tried to do it virtually, but I just didn't feel the connection, and had to start getting them in the team meeting room at whatever expense that was going to be, and not to be negligent, but I had to get in front of them. I have to see them. And so we kept it under 15 minutes. We tried to cover their, always have a mask on, but I had to look them in the eye and talk to them as much as I could, because early in the year, it just didn't feel the same to me. We didn't have the same connection, and, some of that was out of our control. And so we're doing our best to repair those relationships. Not so much repair those relationships, always do what we try to do and build those relationships.
Jeff Drummond.
Hey, Mark, I was wondering, in your preparation for this and watching NC State film, has there been any personnel for those guys that really jumped out at you off that and caught your attention?
Well, again, we talked about the running backs. I think they're really good at yards after contact. They really are. They're hard to get down. They're just both really tough runners, and you feel like Seven got a chance to create some explosive plays, really has some juice. Their wideouts are really big. They do a nice job of creating space. They use and they create some space and go up and get some jump balls. With the tempo of their offense, again, I know Tim and I go way back. Their offense coordinator, they use tempo, and we know, tempo creates problems. Let's not kid ourselves. Sometimes it can hurt an offense, but a lot of times it helps. And they do use their tempo to go extremely fast, and then to create opportunities down the field. And they have big wide receivers that could go up and make some plays. So we got to be ready to contest those.
All right, John Long.
Hey, Mark, I don't think I missed this, but in terms of the quarterbacks, so what are you anticipating in terms of snaps for each of the guys in the game coming up?
We'll see how it goes. I mean, Terry's our starter. I wanted to use this opportunity to continue to develop our young guys. I sure would like to play them. I talked about that, with the quarterbacks and with Terry, but, I want to win the game too. And if Terry's really playing well, then we'll ride it out and we'll see how it goes. So it's really like that every week. I expect Terry to play well, but I know our other guys are preparing extremely hard as well.
John Hale.
Building on that, Mark, what development can those young guys on offense get out of this period, even though the scheme's going to change when Liam gets here in January or whatever?
There's an opportunity to get better every time we step on the field and every time we step into a meeting room. You're constantly, reading, seeing what the defense is doing. What are your options? What are your reads? Even if they change in a new system, you still have an opportunity to get better every day. Your accuracy, your footwork, the way you throw the ball, and again, the discipline of your eyes. It's no different at any position, but it's extremely important at quarterback.
Larry Vaughn.
Mark was just wondering, last week when you had a chance to look at some of the younger guys who maybe didn't play a lot during the season, was there any guy or two that really kind of jumped out at you? Then also about your freshman defensive lineman, what do you how you felt about them, and what are you looking forward going forward?
Yeah, I really I hate to single out guys, because I feel like, right off the top of my head, I mean, I feel good about all those guys. I've said that. I think, Trayvon Ripka is a guy that was maybe behind a little early, but we always felt like had great upside because of his length and he's twitchy and so he's a guy we're bringing along. We've talked about Oxidine. all year. We talked about Josiah Hayes all year doing some really good things. And so, I think they're all working hard and doing good, and I think going to be really good players. And we talked a lot about Vito this year. He's showing out and doing some good things. Has a really bright future. So we'll see. I think on the other side of the ball, Cummings, is a guy that's showing up. He's strong, earnest. Shows some flashes. Again, a very big, strong receiver is going up, making some tough catches. So we'll see how it goes. We got 3 more days here of good practices, and hopefully they'll continue to get better.
All right, we have time for a couple more. First will be Derek Terry.
Yeah, Mark. Kind of along the lines of what Larry was talking about. At least at corner, Eccles is going to graduate. Kelvin's already gone. MJ went to the transfer portal. Are there any other guys maybe for this bowl game who can get some more reps who maybe haven't played a whole lot this season in terms of young guys?
Andrew Phillips is a guy that we're very high on, and Carrington. Both of those guys, we're high on those guys. We think they got big upside. And Carrington's been playing. Andrew is looking for the right opportunity, but he's had really good practices, and he'll get some snaps in this game. So I feel good about both of those guys.
And we'll close with Lonnie Demery. Lonnie?
This time last year, Pascal was he was 100%, and he went out and he played like he was, and he was very pumped about playing. This year he comes into the season, and he starts off really good, and of course he had some setbacks, so to speak, but overall, let me know where you think he is in terms of his overall ceiling. I mean, I know he's going to get better, but what is the overall ceiling as a player?
Yeah, I think he's a guy. He's hard to. How do I phrase this the right way? He's sometimes not honest with me, because I'm like, Josh, how you feeling? I'm good. You know him. He's just got an unbelievable attitude, work ethic. Refuses to miss anything. I was visiting with him, prior to the break, and told him that, take a day, let's try to get you healed up. And he's like, doesn't want to do it. And, I think it'll take some more time than we had right now for him to be 100%. I hope he's close to it in this game. I know he'll give us like he always does. But that's, leadership, and that's somebody that's always willing to give for others. And he's out there every day, and he goes as hard as he can. And in the South Carolina game, finally, I think it would have to be the South Carolina game. I was just like, at the end, because even though we had the game in hand, it just, there's something about it when you're getting the ball run on you, it just pisses you off. But you see Josh out there late in the game, just giving it everything he has, till finally we brought him over on the sidelines, and I'm like, Josh, that's it, man. You're done. You're done for the day. Root on your teammates, but that's just who he is. He's going to empty his tank every time he practices and every time he plays, and that's a great person. I admire his work ethic and the way he goes about his business, and I'm quite sure all his teammates do as well.